ibn Ubaidullah al-Taymi radallahu anhu, birth 594 CE, martyred 656 CE, father Ubaidullah al-Taymi, mother Suba bint Abdullah, tribe Banu Taym. Talha ibn Ubaidullah. Talha ibn Ubaidullah al-Taymi was one of the esteemed companions of Prophet Muhammad sallam. He accepted Islam in its early days in Makkah and was among the 10 companions promised paradise, al-Ashara al-Mubashira, al-Ashir al-Mubashira. Known for his exceptional bravery, he played a crucial role in the Battle of Uhud, where he shielded the Prophet from enemy arrows using his hands. Talha was also a key member of the Majlis Ashura, consultative council, during the era of the rightly guided caliphs. He was martyred in the Battle of the Camel in 656 CE. Lineage. Talha's lineage traces back to the Quraysh tribe. Talha ibn Ubaidullah ibn Uthman ibn Amr ibn Ka'ab ibn Sa'd ibn Taym ibn Murrah ibn Ka'ab ibn Luay ibn Ghalib ibn Far ibn Malik ibn Nadhr ibn Kinana. His mother, Suba bint Abdullah ibn Malik al-Hadramiyah, lived during the Prophet's time and, according to some reports, embraced Islam before her passing. She was first married to Abu Sufyan and later to Talha's father, Ubaidullah. Their acceptance of Islam. Talha was among the early converts to Islam. According to one narration, during a trade journey to Syria, he met a Christian monk who foretold the arrival of the final prophet in Arabia. Upon returning to Makkah, he learned that Muhammad from Banu Hashim had declared prophethood. Trusting both the Prophet and Abu Bakr radallahu anhu, he immediately embraced Islam. Another account states that Talha initially opposed Abu Bakr radallahu anhu and tried to persuade him to renounce Islam. However, after discussing faith, he recognized the truth of Islam and accepted it himself. Persecution for faith. After converting to Islam, Talha faced intense persecution from his family. Nawfal ibn Khuwaylad once tied him and Abu Bakr together and left them without support from their tribe. This incident earned them the title Kurnayn, meaning the two tied together. Additionally, some sources mention that Talha's own brother, Uthman ibn Ubaidullah, mistreated him, trying to force him back into polytheism. Migration to Medina. When the Prophet migrated to Medina, Talha was returning from a trade journey in Syria. Though he did not migrate immediately, he later escorted Abu Bakr's family to Medina. Initially, he stayed with either Qubayb ibn Isaf or Asad ibn Rara before receiving land from the Prophet Salah to build his home. Military contributions. Talha played a significant role in early Islamic battles. Battle of Badr. Talha missed this battle as he was on a scouting mission assigned by the Prophet Sallam. However, he was still awarded a share of the war booty. Battle of Uhud. Talha's bravery in this battle was unparalleled. When many companions retreated, he stood firm, shielding the Prophet ﷺ with his body. He sustained severe injuries, including the loss of movement in 2 fingers due to an arrow strike. At one point, he physically lifted the Prophet onto a boulder when he struggled to climb. The Prophet's praise. After Uhud, Zubayr ibn al-Awwam recalled the Prophet ﷺ, declaring that Talha had earned paradise for his courage that day. The Prophet also said, "If anyone wants to see a living martyr walking on earth, let him look at Talha ibn Ubaidullah." Later, when the Prophet ﷺ recited the Quranic verse, "Among the believers are men who have been true to their covenant with Allah. Some have fulfilled their vow by martyrdom, while others await their turn, and they have not changed in the least." Quran 33:23. A man asked who this verse referred to, and the Prophet ﷺ remained silent. At that moment, Talha entered the mosque wearing a green garment, and the Prophet ﷺ pointed at him, saying, "He is one of them." Contributions and legacy. Talha actively participated in major events of Islamic history. Treaty of Hudaybiyah. He was present during this pivotal agreement. Other military expeditions. Before the Battle of Tabuk, he was appointed as the leader of Asariya, a military expedition, to dismantle a gathering of hypocrites, Munafiqun, at the house of a Jewish man named Suwaylim. Advisory role. Talha was a crucial member of the Majlis Ashura, advising the rightly guided caliphs. Talha ibn Ubaidullah radallahu anhu remains a symbol of bravery, sacrifice, and unwavering faith, leaving behind a legacy of dedication to Islam. Talha, the generous. Talha ibn Ubaidullah was a successful merchant specializing in textiles and was widely known for his exceptional generosity. Prophet Muhammad sallam honored him with several noble titles. Talha al-Khair, Talha the Good, granted on the day of Uhud. Talha al-Fayyah, the Generous, bestowed during the Battle of Usra. Talha al-Jud, Talha the Benevolent, earned during the Battle of Hunain. Talhash, a life of generosity. Talha frequently donated his wealth for the sake of Islam. On one occasion, he purchased a water well, provided food, and sacrificed camels for the people. Moved by his generosity, the Prophet once again referred to him as Talha the Generous. When a Yemeni delegation visited the Prophet, Talha welcomed them with great hospitality, offering fine garments and financial gifts. Pleased by his kindness, the Prophet said, "You are Fayyad the Generous." His generosity was not just limited to public donations, but extended to his personal wealth as well. One day his wife noticed he seemed troubled and asked him why. Talha explained that his immense fortune made him uneasy, fearing it might distract him from his devotion to Allah. Acting on her advice, he donated 400,000 dirhams in charity before the night ended, bringing him peace. On another occasion, after selling a piece of land to Uthman ibn Affan for 700,000 dirhams, Talha gave away the entire amount in a single night. His generosity was so remarkable that his fellow companions declared they had never seen anyone give away such wealth without being asked, except for Talha. Role in the rightly guided caliphate. During Abu Bakr's caliphate, Talha played a key role in the Ridda Wars, fighting against the false prophet, Tulayha. During Ali's caliphate, initially he pledged allegiance to Ali, Radha Allah Anhu, but later withdrew, believing that those responsible for Uthman ibn Affan's assassination had not been adequately punished. He then travelled to Makkah and allied with Zubair ibn Awam and Aisha, Radha Allah Anha, to oppose Ali, martyrdom. During the Battle of the Camel, Marwan ibn al-Hakam shot an arrow at Talha, fatally wounding him. In Jumada al-Akhira 36a, Talha ibn Ubaidullah was martyred at the age of 60. Reburial. Talha was initially buried near a water source at Shat al-Kala. However, a family member had a recurring dream in which Talha requested to be moved as water had seeped into his grave. After witnessing the dream 3 times, the family decided to open the grave. Upon doing so, they found his body perfectly preserved, surrounded by lush green grass. His remains were then relocated and reburied in a house purchased from Abu Bakr radhiallahu anhu. Another account by al-Baladuri states that Talha was first buried near Kara Bridge in Basra. Around 30 years after his death, his daughter Aisha bint Talha had a similar dream. Upon investigation, Abd al-Rahman ibn Salama al-Tamimi reopened the grave and discovered that Talha's body remained intact and uncorrupted. His remains were then transferred to Hajran, where his final resting place remains well known to this day.